The Muslim looks in the Quran and he looks at the stories of all of the prophets and all of the messengers. He looks at those stories as an example to take lessons out of their stories, because what they went through, people amongst us are going through it. So there's a person from our community who he is a Muslim, but his father's giving him a hard time like Ibrahim's father was. There's a person from our community who he's a religious man, but his wife is not religious like Lut, and his wife made khiyana against him. So the people who the wife is making khiyana. There is a sister who is muttaqiyah, multazima, bidiniha, but her husband la khayra fih. He's like a Fir'aun, like what Asiya had to deal with. So we look at their stories and we take from their stories as lessons. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ عِبْرَةٌ لِأُولُي الْأَلْبَابِ. The Labib, the Aqil, when he reads those Quranic stories, he looks at his situation. You're not better than Ibrahim, you're not better than Lut, you're not better than Musa, you're not better than the Anbiya of the Quran. Salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. So if he gave you a fitna like he gave them, similar fitna, then you have to deal with it the way they dealt with it and take a lesson from that. I give you an example about an issue that we deal with in the community, and everybody has to deal with it. Except that the one that Allah makes him ma'asum, and Allah gives him rahmah. But most of us have to deal with this. And that is the fitna and the challenge of an ijbar. People are here and we have to do things that go against the religion. We don't want to do it. We want to do things that we're supposed to do, but because of compulsion, we can't do it. You want to do it, but you can't. You do something that goes against your principles. Your principle is against that. But because of your weakness, because of your condition, you're forced to do what goes against your principles. You're not the first person who came along in life and this is your situation at Ijbar. Every person here who's driving a car, you have to have insurance. And I say from here, I say from here, insurance is haram. And it's from the Akbar al-Kadair. Whether it's car insurance, house insurance, taking riba, is from the major sins in Islam. And it's not okay for our ummah to make istisghar of this issue, but we're forced. We have to get car insurance, because if you get into an accident, you're going to have bigger problems. So there's some fiqh about how to behave and what to do and what not to do when you're forced. Ibrahim, who Allah Azza wa Jal described in the Quran and said about him, وَاتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا. Ibrahim is the Khalil of Allah. And if a person is a Khalil of Allah, wallahi, he's from the awliya of Allah. He's not an insan adi. He's from the awliya of Allah. And yet, in what was collected by the Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim, Ibrahim was traveling with his wife, Sarah, his wife. And you know the Muslim is the one who has ghayra on his wife, the real Muslim. He's the one who his wife have to wear hijab. He doesn't want his wife going to the supermarket, for an example, Asda, whatever. She's in the line, she's gonna pay. There's a Yehudi behind her, there's a Nasrani in front of her, and the Yehudi is just looking out all the mahasin of his wife. That's not the real Muslim. I don't say he's a kafir, but something's wrong with him. Your wife is supposed to wear hijab. Ibrahim told his wife Sarah when he was traveling to a city where there was a king who was a zalim. The king had a marad. Ibrahim told his wife Sarah, look, this king is a problem. Every man who comes to his land, every man, if the man is mutazawwij, the king wants his wife. Perversion, sexual perversion. He's a king, he can have anyone. He wants the lady who's already married. So Ibrahim, he gave his wife advice. He said, when you go in, I'm going to bring you in. When you go and he asks you, Ya Sarah, who are you to me, Ibrahim? Tell him that you're my sister. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Tell him you're my sister. It's like tuqya, tadlis. You say something, but you want something else because you're afraid. Ijbar. She went in there by herself. By herself. Ibrahim didn't go in there with her. One of our wives, she has to go to a situation that's similar to that. She went in there. The king asked, what are you doing? She said, a sister. And the story happened. The shahid is anybody going to say that Ibrahim was da'if? Ibrahim was a dayuth? Ibrahim didn't have ghaira? Anybody going to say that? We're going to say, kalla. Ibrahim is from the imams of taqwa and Islam. Khalil of Allah Azza wa Jalla. But he was forced in that situation. Why is that story told to us? You may be in a similar situation with your wife or other than that. You're weak. Another example of that is Musa and what happened with Musa. Salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Allah mentioned in that story, that long story, and Musa was mentioned in the Quran more than any other Nabi, any other Rasul. So you have a lot of these examples with him. وقال الرجل مؤمن من آل فرعون يكتم إيمانه أتقتل الرجل أن يقول ربي الله وقد جاء بالبينات من ربي. It came with the بينات من ربكم. There was a man with Pharaoh, from the Egyptians, not the Sahara, the magicians. He accepted Islam before the magicians. At least when the magicians accepted Islam, they were together. And their strength, when you have more people suffering with you, this man was all by himself. And when he heard the dawah of Musa, a dawah that's against his forefathers, a dawah that's against the hakim of his town, the dawah that's against his people, what they were doing, he accepted Islam. But when he accepted Islam, he made kitman. He concealed and hid Islam. He didn't tell people out loud that he was a Muslim. But when Musa kept coming back and he was having problems with Pharaoh, the man couldn't take it anymore. The believing man came out and said to Pharaoh, the people, do you kill a man because he says, Rabbi Allah? He doesn't want your money. He doesn't want your wife. He's just telling you to accept Islam. La ilaha illallah. Would anybody here say, well, that man was weak, hiding his iman from Pharaoh? Right here in this masjid, wallahi, we have a brother in this masjid, older than 30 years old. His mother accepted Islam over 30 years ago from Sikhism. She was a Sikh. She accepted al-Islam. She's a Muslimah today. But when she deals with her Sikh relatives, she hides her Islam right now today. Why does she hide her Islam? It's because of the adawah, the kirahiyah of the Sikh community towards her relatives. She can possibly get killed here in the UK because of the hatred that the Sikhs have. Can you and I make tawbih of her for hiding her Islam? There are other people from amongst us. He's a Muslim, but he's afraid to let people know about his Islam. I'm not talking about he has a shakhsiyah that's da'ifa. And he's always taking the adna and the rukhsa. I'm not talking about that guy. The one who's afraid. You go into his place of business and he doesn't say assalamu alaikum. He say, how you doing? What's up, Bob? And all that stuff. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the one who is really afraid of his Islam. And he's at work and he doesn't want those people to know that he's a Muslim. Because he's really afraid it's going to be a problem. Then when a person is forced to do things with the prophets and the messengers before, this is a consistent pattern throughout the Quran and throughout the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I just gave you two examples because I want to move on to the example of the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because in his life and in his seerah and in the Quran that he brought are too many examples to leave no doubt. Ya Muslim, if you are forced to do something that's haram, you're compelled, then don't worry about it. We have a brother, I look in the audience right now, he had a child that died. The child died. We asked Allah to make that child a hijab for him and his wife, Yawmul Qiyamah. So your child dies before 9 months. The people in the hospital take the child and they want to take that child and cremate the child. They want to take that child and put him in the biohazards and burn him and send him away. You want to give the child the haqq of Islam. The haqq of Islam is a burr. He's more than 3 months. The child is 8 months. But the hospital was saying, no, we're not going to give it to you. It goes against the rules in the system. What are you going to do? Punch the doctor in the face? Are you going to stand there in the maternity ward screaming and jumping up and down, showing them that this is Islam, this is the Izzah of al-Islam? You say, hey, wallahi, fattaqullah mastata'tu. If they give me that baby, I'll take it and I'll go and bury the baby, but it goes against this system. I'm majboor, I can't help it. So the Muslim has to have some understanding of when do you become a person who's compelled? And how do you behave when you're compelled? And what's okay for you to do and what's not okay for you? So as it relates to the Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah Ta'ala asked a rhetorical question to the Nabi, and it's a su'al inkari. أَفَأَنْتَ تُكْرِهُ النَّاسِ حَتَّى يَكُونُوا مُؤْمِنِينَ. Ya Muhammad, are you going to force people to become Muslims? Are you going to compel them? It's kadhib that these kuffar say al-Islam spread by the sword. Bima'na, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam forced people. Yes, it's spread by the sword. When people fought against Islam, Rasulullah dealt with them. I'm not going to stand here and say another narrative that's kadhib, iftira. He fought people. There's jihad in Islam. But with jihad, there's a time, there's a place, there's a people, there are ahkam, there are adab. Allah Ta'ala told us in our religion, La ikraha fid din, qad tabayyana al-rushdu min al-ghayy. You can't force people in this religion. You chose to marry a lady who's a Jew. You chose to marry a lady who's a Christian. That's permissible. But you can't force her not to practice Christmas, not to eat pork. You can't force her not to go to church. Allah allowed you to marry her under that condition. So you need to think 2, 3, 4, 500 times before marrying her. Because once you marry her, you can't force her to become a Muslim or not to wear a cross. But as it relates to the Rasul himself, look what happened. Too many examples. In the beginning of Islam, when the Muslims were weak, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to connect with the people and he would give them dawah in secret. And he would tell them, you become a Muslim, don't tell anybody about your Islam and don't tell the people about me and the community. And the community kept growing. The community used to gather in a place in Mecca called Dar al-Arqam. That was the main place. And they would come in the cover of the night. One of the companions, his kunya is Abu Dharr al-Ghaffari. He's an Arabi Asil. His tribe was powerful. So he had the protection of his tribe. He became a Muslim. Rasulullah told him and the people, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, don't tell about your religion. But Abu Dharr was shadeed in the haqq. He had shiddah when it came to al-amr ma'ruf and nahi al-munkar. Just read his story. Abu Dharr said, I'm going out and I'm making the i'lan of my Islam. He went all by himself, although the Prophet said, don't do that. He went all by himself to the Kaaba, the house of Allah. And he's a mu'min. And on that day, he, inshallah, is from the best people in Mecca. He went out and he said, I bear witness. There's no God worthy of worship but Allah. And Muhammad is his messenger. Kuffar of Quraysh came and they beat him up. I mean, they beat him up. And they didn't kill him because he's from the Ghafari tribe. And also because he ran away before they could kill him. But they weren't going to kill him. But they put lumps all over him. He went to the Zamzam water, escaped from that. He said, I stayed in the Zamzam water there for 1 month, hiding. I couldn't come out. For 1 month, the Muslims didn't know what happened to Abu Dharr. When he came out after a month, Abu Dharr was weight. He became fat, samin. He put on weight. Rasulullah said, Abu Dharr, where you been? What happened? He told him the story. He said, but where you been all this time? He said, I was hiding at the Zamzam. He said, what did you eat all this time? He said, I was just drinking Zamzam water. That's it. Rasulullah told him and told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, innaha mubarakatun wa innaha ta'am tu'l. The Zamzam water is blessed. Drink it. Make dua for whatever you need. Zamzam, ma'u zamzam lima shuriba lahu. You want sabr taqwa? You want knowledge? You want things, good health? Drink Zamzam water. It's not the Zamzam that'll help you. The Zamzam will help you bi idhnillah. He said the Zamzam water is blessed. And if you use it, it will nourish you. But what's the point here? Is the point about Zamzam? No. The point is about Abu Dharr al-Ghaffari went against the Tawjihat al-Nabawiyyah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in, who told the people at that time, hide your Islam. Because if you don't hide your Islam, you're going to have problems, and I can't help you. Another example for the one who has doubt is the dietary laws of Islam. Allah mentioned in the Quran, حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ الْمَيْتَةُ وَالدَّمُ وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ وَمَا أُحِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ وَالْمُنْخَنِقَةُ وَالْمَوْقُوذَةُ وَالْمُتَرَدِّيَةُ وَالنَّتِيحَةُ وَمَا أَكَلَ السَّبْعُ. All of that is haram. All of that is haram. Allah went through all of that you can't eat. And then he told us, ذَلِكُمْ فِسْقٌ. All of that is nasty, it's dirty. Eating a pig, dead meat, eating an animal that's been strangled, gored to death, broke his back, broke his neck, it was drowned. Eating an animal that was slaughtered for other than Allah Azza wa Jal. Eating an animal that the sabr, those wild dogs got him and they ate him before you can slaughter him. Eating that all haram. Allah said it's nasty, it's dirty. But then at the end of the ayah he said, فَمِنِ الطُّرَّ فِي مَخْمَسَةٍ غَيْرُ مُتَجَانِفٍ إِثْمٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Pay attention to this ayah. But anyone who is forced and compelled to eat pig, to eat a dead animal, to eat something that was slaughtered for other than Allah, to eat an animal that is rotten, he's forced. You want to live, he doesn't want to live. Whoever does that, Allah is Ghafoor Rahim, because he's compelled. Now, this ayah, listen to what happened in Syria a few years ago when things were really hot in Syria. Things were hot. On the internet, on social media, there were little Syrian kids who were eating grass. I'm sure some of you saw the little kid was eating the regular grass, the grass. And they were interviewing the kid. Some of the ulama of Syria, they gave the fatwa under those conditions, circumstances. If you find a cat, if you find a dog, if you find a rat, you can eat it. Not because it's halal, but because the people need it. Some of the Muslims, when they heard that, they said, ulama al-hukam, ulama al-su, bad scholars. Because he's jahil. He doesn't know about the maqasid of al-Islam. He doesn't know about the dururiyat al-khamsa. Al-Islam came to give you life, to let you live another day. As long as you're on this side of the earth, alive, it's better, inshallah, than being on the other side. And that's why he prohibited us. He told the people, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, if a musibah hits you, don't ask Allah to make you die. Don't ask Allah. Ask Allah to give you thabat and to give you sabr. Don't ask Allah to die. But if you have to, the musibah can be so bad. If you have to ask Allah to make you die, then make the dua, oh Allah, if death is better for me, then make me die. And if life is better, then make me live. The point is, Al-Islam doesn't want you to die. The religion wants you to live another day, as many days possible. So you can get Jum'at, so that you can do Ramadan, you can do Salah, so you can give Zakat and so forth and so on. So now, that person said, when he looked at that and he heard that fatwa, the person said, and I heard him, he said, Wallahi, I'd rather die before I eat a dog. I'd rather die before I eat a cat. Well, in normal circumstances, maybe that kalam is okay. But saying that kalam for the situation with our Syrian brothers is not nice. Those ulama gave that fatwa not because they were ignorant and scholars for dollars, but due to necessity. If that's all you have, then Allah is Ghafoor Rahim. But does that mean, before I move on, inshallah, the Muslim man who's the sahib of the Bukhari, he has a supermarket, he has a store, and in the store he's selling khamr and beer and cigarettes and pork. He's selling all of that. And then he says, hey, I'm in the UK. I'm forced. I don't have a choice. Allah said he's Ghafoor Rahim. No, this ayat is not talking about that. This ayat is talking about the one who finds himself really in this situation. When I became a Muslim, I went to my community in the ghetto of America, where the poor people like myself live, African Americans. In our community, were a lot of Muslims from where you people are from, our brothers. After becoming a Muslim, I went to those stores and I asked them, why are you selling pork to my people? Instead of giving them Islam and giving them al-hayat, you're giving them poison. Why are you selling pork and khamr? Don't you see my people killing each other out here? If one of them gets into an accident, you're mas'ool and you have a juz of that jarima. The man divorces his wife, has a baby out of wedlock, akramakumullah. You have something to do with that. Ad-dal ala khayr kafa'ilihi. And opposite, the one who does evil, you have something to do with that. You know what they used to tell me? They used to tell me the pork is haram for us, but it's not haram for them. The khamr is haram for us, Muslims, but not haram for them. That's what the Yahud said in the Quran. That's what they said. They said, we can sell this stuff to other people and we can do these things because the Ummiyin, these Arabs, these Muslims, these people, they have no sabil with us. We could give them anything. But they were lying. That's not our religion. So Allah is not Ghafur Rahim. The meaning of that ayah is not the one who was selling haram in the store. It's the one who was forced. He has nothing to eat, nothing, so he eats that. And when he gets the pork, he only eats enough to last the next day. Enough to last the next day. He doesn't have a feast. Anyway, the ayah ended, Allah's Ghafur Rahim. Pay attention. Another example. You know, during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Kuffar Quraysh, the Quraysh, Arabs, they used to make money the same way we make money today. The same way we make money today. They used to make money by gambling. They used to make money by selling khamr. They used to make money by a nahb, highway robbery. Same way people do. You go to the Muslim world, you travel from the Usamah to another Medina, they'll stop the bus. And you got to get out the bus with your wife and take all your clothes off like everybody else. And they'll take all of your money and all of your belongings. And that's in the Bilad of al-Islam right now. One of the things the Arabs used to do is the Arab would say, hey, come and have dinner with me today. Come and have lunch. The karam of the Arab. La yunkiru ahadun. They were generous people in Jahiliyyah. Hey, come, you and your son, 4 or 5, come and have lunch. And he will come. And then that man, along with his brothers and uncles and his tribe, they would take that person and sell him into slavery. That was the way they made money. Rasulullah says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ثَلَاثَةٌ أَنَا خَصْمُهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَذَكَرَ مِنْهُمْ رَجُلٌ بَاعَ حُرٌّ ثُمَّ أَكَلَ ثَمَنًا. Big sin, big crime. The man is free. Free today, and tomorrow he's an abd. He's a slave. You took away from his hurriya. SubhanAllah. So they used to make money. Listen, one of the ways the Arabs used to make money was through prostitution. Akramakumullah. And it's mentioned in the Quran. Prostitution. How? What they would do? Because they had slavery back then, the man would have slave women. He would tell his slave woman, you have to go and have relationships and give me the money. And that was what they used to do in Mecca, in Medina, in the Arab world. That's what they did. They made money. Al-Islam came and said, no, this is haram. This is a bad thing. Zina is from the Akbar Kaba'ir, something you shouldn't do. So the Muslims with Iman from the companions who had slave girls, they stopped. They left it. Because they believe in Allah and His Messenger. So when something is haram, they say, okay, they left it. But the munafiqeen, the hypocrites, and some people who have weak iman, they didn't leave it because it's money. It's money. One of the leaders of the people was Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn as-Sulul, the leader of the munafiqeen. He said, I'm not going to stop my girls. They're going to keep making this money. Allah revealed the prohibition. وَلَا تُكْرِهُ فَتَيَاتِكُمْ عَلَى الْبِغَى إِنْ أَرَدْنَا تَحَصُّنًا لِتَبْتَغُوا عَرَضَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَمَنْ يُكْرِهُنَّ فِإِنَّ اللَّهَ مِنْ بَعْدِ إِكْرَاهِهِنَّ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Like the one who eats pork, he eats the meta, the dung. Allah told the men of this community, You Muslims, you have slave girls. Don't force your slave girls to do prostitution after it became clear your slave girl is a Muslimah and she wants ihsan and she wants khair and she's clean. She doesn't want that. Don't make her do it anymore. Allah went on to say, and if anyone forces them to do it, anyone forces them, after that, Allah is Ghafur Rahim. Who is Allah Ghafur Rahim to? Is he Ghafur Rahim to Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, the munafiq, alladhi ajbaraha? Is that the one? Well, if he's a Muslim, Allah could be Ghafur Rahim and forgive him. But the ayat is not talking about him. The ayat is talking about the slave girl. The slave girl who has no one except Allah, and then the weak community that they had, and then the weak community. If she said to her master, I'm not listening to that, I'm a mu'minah, she's dead. Rasulullah won't help her, nobody can help her. She's a slave girl, she's dead. But if the man compels her to do that, then Allah is Ghafur Rahim. In the Muslim world, this mushkil is there right now. The girl is very poor, and she's a khadima in the house of the Muslims, and unfortunately, Muslims are taking advantage of that girl. She has no one but Allah, miskina, da'ifa, ghariba. She's far from her country. And that's what she has to do, unfortunately. If you know about that, then, as I mentioned, if you have something to do with it, you have to stop it. If you don't have anything to do, you have to give them down. So that's an example of people with the Prophet ﷺ being forced, being compelled. That's our religion. That's our religion. You have to eat haram, eat enough to keep living. You're in a situation you have to conceal your religion for right now. Not because you're scared just to be a man. You're scared just to be a man. These people believe in monkeys, they believe in elephants, they believe in a statue of a man who's fat, and they have no haya and no taraddud about believing in that. They believe that Isa is the son of Allah, and they gave Isa the color that he has in those pictures. He wasn't like that. They gave Isa the blonde eyes and all that stuff, the blue eyes, and they're not shy to come to you and tell you what they believe in. But when it comes to us, we're shy. I'm not talking about that one, the one who's shy. I'm talking about the one who's serious. He's in serious dilemma. If they know about your Islam, you're going to get in trouble. Last example, and there are many, is what happened during the time of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Mecca. There was a blessed family with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the father's name was Yasir. Everybody know his son, Ammar, his wife, Sumayya. Those kuffar of Quraysh tied the father and the mother up, and they started persecuting them, and they wouldn't leave their religion. Like Bilal in the desert, kept saying, Ahad, Ahad. They took the lady and they took the man, and they were cutting them up, putting sand in the womb, and just kept doing it. Rasulullah walked by at that moment. He walked by, and he saw it. He saw it. Allah said in the Quran, Ud'uni astajib lakum. You people make dua to me, I'll answer your dua. With all of our mistakes, Ud'uni astajib lakum. That's what Allah said. He'll answer your dua, my dua, inshallah. You think Rasulullah's dua is not answered? He's mustajab dua. No doubt. He walked by those people and he just said to the family, Sabrin ya Ali Yasir. He just kept going. That's all he could say. He didn't roll up his sleeves and start fighting the non-Muslims. He didn't make dua in front of them, although his dua is mustajab. Why did he do that? He has to teach the community. In these circumstances, you have to be patient. And the son was watching. The Prophet left, the son was watching. After that, the kuffar got tired and they killed them. And they killed the mother in a terrible way. Can't even mention it here. She's the first shaheed in Islam. Radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. After that, they said to the son, we're going to kill you too. Just like we killed your mother. He saw his mother and his father killed. And he saw his mother killed in a terrible way. They grabbed him and said, we're going to kill you too. But we'll let you go if you curse Muhammad. You curse Muhammad, your Nabi and Rasul will let you go. And curse Allah. Curse Allah. He started cursing Allah, started cursing Prophet Muhammad, and they let him go. He came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Mahmoud. Rasulullah saw him, upset. What's the matter? They killed my family, Ya Rasulullah. That's how you got the news. They killed my mother, my father. But Rasulullah, they did worse than that. They grabbed me, they threatened, they're going to kill me if I don't make sub of you, make sub of Allah, make shatam of you, make shatam of Allah. Rasulullah told the man, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in adu farud, if they hit you again, if they grab you again, and they threaten to kill you again, and they give you this ultimatum, curse me, and we'll let you go. Rasulullah told the man, then curse me. Curse me. He said, how was your heart? How was your heart when you did that? He said, I believe in Allah and I believe in His Messenger. And Allah revealed the ayah of the Quran. من كفر بالله من بعد إيمانه إلا من أكره وقلبه مطمئن بالإيمان ولكن من شرح بالكفر صدره, the one who his chest is open to kuffar. Then this is the one that Allah has His ghadab on him, and Allah made for him an adab that is azim. So the point here, ikhwani, is when you find yourself in these kind of situations, the religion has made a way out for you. Things get tight for you in your life. The religion came and made things easy and open. And that's part of the meaning of Allah being Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Latif, Al-Halim, all of that. So the last thing I want to mention about this very quickly, ikhwani, is we have to be on top of our children. Some of our children want to weaponize al-Islam. The boy says, I don't want to go to the university because you have to get riba. I don't want to go to the university because the teacher is a woman. I don't want to go to the university because in the ma'mal, I'm with 3 or 4 other women and it's ikhtilat and I'm by myself. And all of that is true. All of those muharramat are true. But we're going to say to that boy, hey boy, if every Muslim young man and every Muslim young girl took that position, we're going to have a of people who don't know what they're doing. They won't have degrees. They won't be doctors. They won't know what they're doing. They all have to go to Burger King and McDonald's to flip burgers. And don't tell me Burger King is haram, McDonald's meat is haram. That's not the point. The point is, we won't have young doctors in our audience, in our community. We won't have dentists in our community. We'll just have people who have no ahliyah for anything except manual labor. And it's not that manual labor is haram or something is intrinsically wrong with that, but we need more than that. We need more than that. So I mentioned this to say, riba haram, ikhtilat is haram. You're the teacher, you have to look down. I'm not going to say you have to look down. You have to be in that room to compete. But if we don't understand these things in our own lives, how are we going to help our children? أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى التوفيق والسداد. Alhamdulillah, ikhwani, listen. There's a brother from our community, from Ahl al-Khair, inshallah, one of our Sudanese brothers. He needs an operation. We gathered some money, but we're asking the community to come forward and help the brother. Our Imam, Sheikh Abdurrahman, inshallah, going to give you some more of the details after the salah. But inshallah, we need about 700 pounds, I think, something. Man has to get a serious operation. The one who saved the life of a person is like he saved all of the people. We're asking you, inshallah. I know I come here, I'll be asking you for money for the masjid. One brother came to me last week and he came with love. And he said, look, I want to give you some advice. Allah is a razaq, Abu Usamah. Don't keep asking the people for money, for money, for money. I say, yeah, I know Allah is a razaq. I know that. And all the people know Allah is a razaq. But it's just a tanbih and a dhikr. But I understood what he was saying. I want to thank him for his advice. But today, we're asking the community to help this brother with that which Allah is giving him. May Allah Ta'ala have mercy upon that brother and give him shifa. And may He give shifa to all of our marda, from those who are relative. And may He have rahmah upon those people who have died from amongst us. And may He give us fiqh and make us fuqaha in the religion so we can understand how to navigate in our lives. Aqim as-salat.
Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم ملك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. ألم تر كيف ضرب الله مثلا كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن ربها ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس لعلهم يتذكرون ومثل كلمة خبيثة كشجرة خبيثة اجتثت من فوق الأرض ما لها من قرار يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ويضل الله الظالمين ويفعل الله ما يشاء. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم ملك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن إن الله عليم خبير. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.